Here's a video of a monkey playing Pong using only its thoughts. No, it's not fake. Yes, this is actually possible. Thanks to Neuralink. This was all possible because of a Neuralink device that had been implanted in the monkey's brain, and soon that could be you. If you hadn't heard already, Neuralink is working on brain-computer interfaces, which are basically devices that allow communication between your brain and external hardware. Neuralink had been quietly operating with US government approval since 2016, before they blew up around 2018. In 2019, Elon Musk publicly announced that they'd already had successful tests on mice and monkeys. By the end of 2021, they started trials with humans. So why is this a big deal? And what could this mean for the future of mankind? Well, that's what we're here to find out today. Keep watching to find out why Neuralink will redefine the world forever. Now, to understand Neuralink's goals, we first need to understand what Neuralink is. Simply put, it's a cutting-edge neurotechnology company that aims to develop a brain-computer interface. Their primary mission is to create an implantable device known as the Link, which will act as a conduit between the human brain and computers. On the surface, Neuralink's aim is pretty selfless. They want to help people with brain and spinal cord injuries like paraplegics who can't move or feel, and also those grappling with cognitive diseases such as Alzheimer's. But Elon Musk, the man behind the venture, has a grander vision. He sees this technology as a vital step in connecting humans to artificial intelligence, or AI. Why? Well, Musk has been pretty vocal about his concerns regarding AI, labeling it an existential threat to humanity. He argues that if we don't keep AI in check, it could essentially become an immortal dictator that rules over us. While Musk believes AI could become uncontrollable if kept separate from us, he also suggests that merging AI with human intelligence could actually keep it in check. It's a bit contradictory, isn't it? The idea is that by creating a digital superintelligence layer connecting us to AI, we might be able to coexist without becoming obsolete. Now, while these ambitions sound great, there are some downsides. For starters, what does this mean for our understanding of consciousness or even the concept of being human? If we're embedding technology into our brains, are we still purely human, or do we become some form of cyborg? And let's not forget that we live in a world already divided by inequality. If Neuralink becomes a reality, who gets to use it? Will it become yet another tool that widens the socioeconomic gap? Beyond these ethical dilemmas, there's also the issue of transparency. Neuralink was developed in secrecy for about 3 years before its public launch in 2019. This leads us to an essential geopolitical question. Who gets to make the rules here? Should individual countries take the reins, potentially introducing technologies that could have irreversible global implications? Or is this the kind of game-changing development that necessitates international oversight? Perhaps an international body should be in place to monitor and regulate such frontier technologies. But let's put all that to the side for now and explore what Neuralink could do for us. Elon has suggested that eventually, the cost of getting a Neuralink chip could be the same as getting a LASIK surgery. We're talking about a ballpark figure of around $5,000 in the US. As for the hardware itself, Musk describes it as essentially a smartwatch with tiny wire probes. So the hardware cost could eventually be just a few $100s, especially as technology continues to advance. In other words, it won't be cheap, but it'll likely be within reach for many people if they consider the benefits valuable enough. The goal is for the Link to be like a coin-sized chip nestled safely under your skull, connected to your brain through an elaborate network of ultra-thin, flexible wires packed with 1,024 electrodes. It'll work as an advanced form of electrophysiology, which is the science that studies electrical activity in the nervous system. Your brain's neurons communicate via electrical signals, zapping each other through tiny gaps called synapses. Neuralink's electrodes capture these electrical spikes in real time, gathering a large amount of data that gives us insights into brain activity, whether you're actually doing something or merely thinking about it. Now, the data itself can get complex, almost like trying to listen to 1,000 people talking at the same time. That's where machine learning and artificial intelligence come into play. These algorithms sift through the noise, isolating patterns and making sense of all that intricate brain activity. Essentially, it's like teaching a computer to understand the language of your brain. And what could this mean for you and me? Well, it has the potential to radically transform how we interact with the world. Imagine being able to access all sorts of knowledge immediately, or acquiring new skills at the flick of a finger. Neuralink aims to provide just that, opening up the possibility for anyone to upgrade their brain as long as they can integrate it with AI. But the biggest problem Neuralink will solve is paralysis. Think of a world where instead of relying on clunky devices or third-party assistance, people could communicate, browse the web, and even create art just by thinking. This isn't science fiction, it's the very near future. The technology aims to bypass the broken connections between the brain and muscles, effectively leapfrogging over the damaged areas and restoring functionality. This isn't limited to just communication. The same tech could also be used to control prosthetic devices. Current research shows that we could potentially reroute signals from the brain directly into prosthetic limbs. An example of this is a project at the University of Miami Miller School of Medicine, where they've successfully linked a man's brain to a prosthetic arm. The next step might be sensory experiences. Could a digital camera serve as new eyes? Could a microphone replace ears? It's a possibility. The idea here is to feed external data right into Neuralink implants, effectively turning technology into new sensory organs. As for those with debilitating conditions, life could change almost overnight. A quick visit to a healthcare facility equipped with a Neuralink surgical robot could offer them capabilities they never dreamed possible. Everything from sending a text to moving a prosthetic limb could happen through mere thought. But let's extrapolate this out. What happens when everyone who needs a Neuralink has one? Elon Musk's vision points to a broader application. We all could benefit from brain-machine interfaces. In his view, we're already part cyborgs, tethered to our devices 24/7. Neuralink could simply be the next logical step, a way to increase our connection bandwidth exponentially. Just as a Fitbit encourages you to become fitter, a Neuralink could potentially make you smarter. Real-time biofeedback could help you fine-tune your focus, memory, and other cognitive abilities. It's like having a cognitive coach implanted in your brain. And all of this could become reality sooner than you might think. Elon Musk aims to begin the first wave of human trials as early as this year. These are crucial steps. They'll help us understand not only if Neuralink can do what it promises, but also what happens when these devices stay in the human brain for extended periods. Are there risks of physical rejection or corrosion? These are unanswered questions that only real-world testing can resolve. And the thing is, Neuralink has a massive edge over past attempts like the freehand system because it's not just medical tech, it's a consumer gadget too. That's how you win in a money-driven world. The freehand system had cool tech for its time, but it was expensive and didn't sell well. When investors saw no profit, they bailed. Neuralink wants to be different by making their device more affordable and useful for many different things. If they nail that, they could be selling these things like hotcakes, and not just to people with medical needs, but to anyone who wants to connect their brain to a computer. Think of how smartphones took over our lives. Neuralink could do the same if it becomes cheap and reliable enough. But while Neuralink presents a ton of possibilities, it's important to look at things a bit more critically. One ethical concern is animal welfare. Early Neuralink experiments have faced scrutiny for their treatment of animal subjects. Practices at UC Davis Primate Center have sparked debate about the ethicality of such invasive tests. Under the banner of innovation, the rush to achieve significant milestones raises questions about whether adequate safety and ethical standards are being met, not just for human applications, but for animal test subjects as well. Plus, the security concerns can't be ignored. Think of what could happen if the chip in your brain is hacked. The consequences could be disastrous, ranging from invasion of privacy to manipulation of your thoughts and actions. Oh, and these concerns go beyond individual autonomy. There's a fundamental question at stake here. How does introducing machine interfaces into human brains change what it means to be human? Even though the technology has received FDA clearance for its first human trials, commercial availability is still a long way off. The journey from lab to mainstream use will have a lot of challenges, both technical and ethical. But hey, if anyone can do this, It's Elon. So, do you think Neuralink will be able to achieve these goals? Leave a comment down below. But that's all for today. See you in the next video.